certainly changed around here since last year. After being held captive by an undead German game developer and a possessed video game cartridge, I took some time off for Christmas in order to re-strategize and rethink. But, hey, now that we're back for a brand new season of action, I can say with a 100% certainty and confidence, hello everyone! It's me, it's TRENT, and we're back, baby. And I figured I want to readjust on my own terms and take it easy. So, I want to play some old school Nintendo. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy. I've been meaning to bust out this bad boy. The old reliable of the video game world, the Nintendo Entertainment System. I have plans to cover the console on its very own video in the future, but I think for now, we just get our grubby little fingers on one of those classic great cartridges and take a look at the first one we find. Even as a kid who was born in the 2000s, I still get a sense of nostalgia anytime I open up the NES library. I mean, it's like I'm a kid on Christmas in the 1980s. I mean, how could I possibly not enjoy anything I pull out on my first LJN. When you hear those three letters in that order, what comes to mind? Well, if you're a certain angry video game nerd, you might think it stands for Laugh-In' Joke and Numbnuts. And going off the critical reception and overall quality of their video games, I wouldn't put it past you. No, LJN was a company infamous for its low-quality efforts in various entertainment ventures, with a good chunk of its poorly made products being found in the library of the Nintendo Entertainment System, often being made under the licensing of various film and television projects. Today's game is no exception. Friday the 13th, released in February of 1989, just shy of a year before the release of the NES's successor, the Super Nintendo. I mean, sure, these days the Friday the 13th movies are considered tentpoles of the slasher horror genre, and Jason Voorhees himself is a pop culture icon for that. But back then, from the period of 1980 to 1988, these movies were relentless. They were constantly coming out. That was one of the guarantees in life. It was life, death, taxes, and a brand new Friday the 13th movie. It was like the plague in a sort of way. To give you an example of just how ubiquitous these movies were, to use a big word for once, when this game came out in 1989, there had already been 7 different Jason movies released, a spin-off television show that was already in the midst of a second season, and 4 novelizations of the first 4 movies. Jeez, guys! Why stop there? With a horror series as synonymous with the 80s as Friday the 13th, which, despite usually being torn apart by critics at the box office, it still had a pretty loyal and rabid fan base. So it only made sense to release a game based off the franchise for a popular console many families were most likely to own around that time. And thus, we have this game. To give credit where it's due, the art on the front of the game actually looks kinda nice, at least. One of the few compliments you'll get from me. Okay, after playing this game and watching The Next Generation, hopefully I get a break from all the crappy horror things in my life, and I can just take a break. But nevertheless, let's take a look at Friday the 13th on NES, and see just how bad it really is. It's probably nothing. So there's not really a story to go over, which is fine with me. Most Friday the 13th stories are just an excuse to get a bunch of teenagers into one place to be killed in increasingly violent and brutal ways anyway. It also ignores the plot hole about why anyone would ever reopen the summer camp, despite the fact that a serial killer frequents the establishment every year. It's like those greedy capitalists who keep reopening Jurassic Park all the time, despite the fact that there are always dinosaurs trying to find a way to wreck shiz up. Sorry, tangent off to one side. We can choose to play as one of 6 different counselors, which isn't something you'd normally see in a game back then. The only other Nintendo game I can think of that has multiple playable characters that came out around at a similar time was Super Mario Bros. 2. And in the same vein as that game, each character has their own attributes, weaknesses, and quirks that set them apart from the others. I went ahead and chose Mark as my starting character.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Our first objective is to find torches to light fireplaces. Okay, sounds simple enough. First thing to notice when you walk outside, zombies. Okay, I get this game needs enemies, and these are really basic horror zombies, but come on, guys! The other enemies are birds, coyotes, and even the waterlogged corpse of Mrs. Voorhees. You couldn't think of one more enemy that could have possibly tied into the films? Whatever. It's a minor nitpick. although I can't think of one huge issue right off the bat. So the game takes place at Camp Crystal Lake, obviously, and you're encouraged to explore all of the map in order to unlock every secret that this game has to have, which could have been a cool idea, except for the fact that the map absolutely sucks. It's so disorienting trying to navigate a circular map in a two-dimensional game, especially when the distance you travel in-game doesn't correspond to where you are on the map. It's very confusing for me to explain. It's one of those play it to really understand it kind of things. Uh-oh. So whenever you hear that ear-raping noise, that means Jason's on the loose, and you have to pretty much drop whatever you're doing and immediately head to his location before he kills all the counselors. So hope and pray that you're not too far away, or else you're completely boned. Gotta go right now. Gotta go right now. Ah, crap, I'm not gonna make it. Thankfully, if you're near a cabin, you can swap out to different characters who are closer to Jason to get there on time. However, that's not always the case. The counselors always start at the same cabins on the campgrounds, so if you haven't played as any of the other characters, they're still at their starting cabins, meaning that Jason could attack a cabin that isn't close to anybody, and you might have to waste time getting to him either way. For example, no one starts at a cabin on the lake, which can only be accessed by the slowest canoes known to man. What kind of messed up camp would do that? Granted, it's the late 80s, so maybe the standards of safety have evolved over time, but I don't see this being a real thing in this or any other timeline. That's just stupid. So, if Jason decides to attack a waterside cabin, you'll always have to waste time, no matter what, trying to get out there to stop his rampage. Some counselors will be close by the lake, but never explicitly at a lake cabin. You might find that to be a nitpick, but with a sound like this, you're gonna get annoyed. A lot. Think Baby Mario, spread across 5 other characters. Ugh. Anyhow, I finally managed to get to the cabin that Jason is in, and oh, sweet baby Jesus, what am I looking at? Again, you have to play it to understand it, but these cabins have a weird perspective to navigate, and ah! It's Casey Jones! It's Jason! Ho ho ho! I'm ready for you, maggot head. Let's get ready. Okay. Well, that was quick. That reminds me of something my ex used to say. So yeah, I died. Bit of an anticlimax there. Okay, to briefly recap that whole 5 seconds, after finding Jason in this hell house, the game switches to a third gameplay style. This time, in the vein of an NES game I'd rather be playing, Punch-Out! You have to duke it out with Jason, mano-a-mano, hand-to-hand, wimpy teenager to bulked-up serial killer, and it's just as miserable as you think it is. While you struggle to take a tic-tac of health off with Jason, your guy can easily die in 2 to 3 hits tops. That's hardly a fair fight. Then again, you can find better weapons scattered throughout the campgrounds like the knife, but 9 times out of 10, you'll be forced to fight Jason with a rock. Yeah, you don't find items through normal means like killing an enemy for certain MacGuffins, but you have to jump in certain areas of the map to make things like knives, lighters, and medicine appear. The medicine's kind of weird like that. You think you gotta go to a cabin and go to your drop-down menu and select it in order to use it, but that's not what happens at all. If you're on the verge of death and you actually get hit again, then the medicine automatically replenishes a little bit of your health, which I guess makes sense. It could help you out in a pinch, but I wouldn't rely on it too much. It restores very little of your HP. So, it turns out Mark was actually one of the best characters, with a fantastic jump and fast moving speed, with his only weakness being that he can't throw weapons quickly. Sucks that he was the first to die, I guess. Let's try, gonna go with Chrissy here, and hey, she's a pretty good character too. I can't wait for her to die a pointless death. Okay, enough with the jokes. This is now a matter of life or death. I'm gonna beat this game, I'm gonna kill this son of a gun, and I am going to be victorious! Quick question, how long is this game again? 3 days? It takes 3 in-game days to kill Jason? Good lord, I can't even get through one. Oh wait, there's some other parts of the camp I forgot to mention, mainly because, well, I wish they didn't exist. The woods and the cave system. So you know how you have a map for the entire campground? Well, there aren't individual maps for the caves or the woods, so you're pretty much in the dark trying to find a way out once you get yourself lost inside one of these. Keep in mind that there are some pretty important items to be found in the caves and the woods. At least, I think? I really don't know. Because the game only tells you need torches to light the fireplaces, but doesn't tell you where to find them, sometimes you'll get keys and other stuff, but I haven't come across the locked cabin or anything yet, so I really don't know why I need a key, and I don't know where anything is. Also, while we're on the subject, where are the damn fireplaces? All of these cabins I walk into are completely devoid of them, no matter where I look. Did they only load in when I have a torch? Also, how come I can't switch between characters in certain cabins? Like when the Jason alert goes off, I want to switch to a counselor close by or play as one of the other characters who have worse stats compared to my current character to deal with him. But there are times when I enter a random cabin to take refuge from the ever-increasing amount of difficult tasks this game presents to you. But it won't let me swap to another character for one reason or another. Why? Scabies. Yeah, I know that response didn't make sense, but trust me, it makes more sense than anything going on in this game. Ugh. To compound some of the difficulty issues, some of the counselors are just ill-equipped to handle the caverns, because they simply don't jump high enough to reach new paths in the cave. In fact, if you're not careful, you could jump to your demise. So, apparently, if you kill over 60 zombies, you'll be awarded with Jason's machete as a weapon. I wish I knew that before I captured footage for this game, because that would have made fighting Jason so much easier. I also learned after the fact that you can duck during the Jason cabin fights, which is another thing I wish the game taught you. Like, seriously, what was it with the NES games back in the old school days that just did not give you at least some semblance of a tutorial for certain games that aren't as easy to pick up and play? They just drop you in like, okay, sport, have fun, and then I don't. I know we've got to the point where all games pretty much hold your hand to the point where it feels like it's overly tutorialized and people pine for simpler times, but still... I'm literally gonna strangle myself with... Okay, just calm down, big guy. Calm down. Maybe there's something else you can focus on. Like, the music. Yeah. Oh, the music. Yeah, it's not good either. It's mostly just 5-second loops of more generic and repetitive pieces to ever grace the Nintendo. Not to mention the overworld theme, you know, the main song you'll be hearing 90% of the time, will lag anytime you pause the game when you're outside the cabin. I have a feeling I'm going to need this if the game keeps up this way. And now it all comes down to Paul. Paul sucks. Okay, not to stereotype or anything, but for a black guy, he sure can't run fast or jump high. He can throw weapons fast, but he really likes to take his sweet time getting from point A to point B. You know what? Beggars can't be choosers. It's all up to you, Pollywog. Surely you could be the hero this franchise needs. Or maybe not. You and your friends are dead. Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, that has to be the most hilarious and brutal game over screen I've ever seen. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. This is not hyperbole. But this game over screen is quite possibly the best thing about this game. No cap. But that's it. That's basically the game. What, do you want me to restart and try again? You're a monster. Like anything's gonna change. The difficulty is off balance, the navigation is wonky, and Jason... Oh, good lord, what happened to you, man? I mean, seriously, how much farther does this game have to fall in order to find something redeemable in it? Granted, it has an awesome game over screen, but... Okay, is my heater broken or something? Let's... Oh, crap! Hey, come on. Wait, my man, just hold on for a second. This is just my crappy review of a game that's, like, older than I am. If you want me to be nicer... maybe you could change your ways too, you know? I think not killing me would be a refreshing change of pace. Or maybe not. Come on. Hi, officer. No, I haven't been drinking tonight. Hey, wait! Before you kill me, can I just ask, have you even actually played this game? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Friday the 13th on NES. I've been RegularTrent, and until next time, take care and spike your hair. I'll see you. Sit down! What's wrong with you? We'll see you guys next time.